It's so bloody hot today, I genuinely don't know what to do with myself. Hey guys, welcome back. So recently I turned the big old grand age of 20. Woo! So I am no longer a teenager, I'm a fully fledged adult. Saying that out loud does indeed give me slight anxiety. So I thought it was a great time to maybe reflect on my time as a child, a mere youth of today, in 20 things that I have done before turning 20. I wanted to do like a cute little artsy way of doing it, so if you don't like it, just go with the flow. So roll credits. Number 1, I visited 40 countries. My parents have always been really into going travelling and exploring the world. As an only child, before I turned 4, my parents decided that it would be easy to go and literally do a tour of the world before I went to school and had to be there all the time. So unfortunately, when I do say that I've been to 40 countries, many of those places I cannot actually remember, which is very, very tragic. But since then, I've always been lucky enough to continue travelling with my friends, with school, on my own, with my family, and it's just amazing, and I'm very proud to say that I'm lucky enough to have been to 40. Wow! Number 2, I got into my university and course of choice. Durham gave me an offer, so I'm going to Durham in October, and I'm very excited. Picking which university and which course to apply for, I think, is always a hard decision for everyone, and it takes a while. And so after having a year of build up and work towards an application, having it pay off and actually succeeding in that is probably one of the best feelings I've ever had in my life. The night of A-level results day was probably the worst night's sleep I've ever had ever. When I did finally get out of bed at about 7:30 a.m. and ran to my laptop, that is probably the only time I've ever cried with joy, which is very, very strange. What can I say? It's paid off. I love Durham, I love my course, and it just goes to show that hard work can get you places. Number 3, I saw One Direction in concert. I still remember it. It was my 14th birthday and my best friend Thea came round to give me my birthday present. Turns out it was actually front row seats to One Direction's tour concert. I have never been so happy in my entire life. I had the best time. I know it's cringe, but One Direction was my entire life, and I lost my voice, I sang every word, I was mesmerised because they were right there, like 2 meters away. Number 4, I've somehow managed to sustain this channel for about 6 years now, which I think is quite impressive. Obviously my channel has never been really super big or successful, or like, it's not my job or anything, but it is one of my passion projects. The fact that I've managed to continue it for such a long time, even though I wasn't necessarily growing or anything, I think that's my own little achievement that I'm quite proud of. And along with that, I have had some like mini successes with that, in terms of I have been recognised sometimes, which is really weird but quite exciting at the same time. Particular videos, mostly about university life, have been quite successful, and it's just like fun when that happens, and to know that people enjoy your content is really cool, and I like that. Hashtag I'm an influencer. Number 5, last summer I travelled to America on my own, which was terrifying. Literally terrifying. The day I flew out, I'd had about 1 hour sleep because I'd been at a show after show. I was crying on the plane because I was leaving all my friends. I wasn't going to see my family at all. I didn't know anyone out there, and I had no idea what I was doing when I was there. And when I was on the plane, like, this family was next to me. I was trying so hard to hide my tears because I was like, they're gonna think I'm so weird if I'm just crying on my own. But yes, I had such a good time. I made so many good friends. I did have many issues while I was there that did make me both upset, stressed, and genuinely unhappy. But the fact that I managed to overcome them, I think is for the better, and I don't regret any of it. If any of you considering doing summer camp in America, I would highly recommend it. It's such a big learning experience, and it's just like nothing else you could do. Number 6, I've seen a Broadway show. Now when I say this, I've actually seen 4, so it's even more cool than just seeing 1. But Obviously, I have been in love with theatre since forever, and so seeing a Broadway show has always been a really big wish for me, and I'm so lucky that I've had the chance to go to New York a few times. One time with my family where I didn't see any shows, the second time with a school drama trip where I saw both Kinky Boots and Anastasia, which were both amazing in completely different ways, which is what I think is the coolest part about theatre stuff. And then thirdly, when I went out to camp, I managed to be able to get across to New York a couple of times. So I managed to see Waitress, which is my all-time favourite show, and Mean Girls, just because I thought it would be hilarious to watch. Anastasia! Number 7, I travelled to Malawi in 2016 with my school on a charity trip for Open Arms Malawi. This was a trip that I found out about when I applied for my secondary school in year 7. It went every 2 years and it was for year 11s and year 12s. And I knew it was extremely competitive. And so it was one of the main things that I wanted to do while I was at school. What it was 3 weeks in Malawi, travelling around to different charity projects, which was under the umbrella of Open Arms Malawi. This charity is an orphanage-based charity. However, their whole aim is to get the kids back into families or foster care. This is instead of keeping them within orphanages, because there's many corrupt orphanages in that area of Africa. My school has supported them forever, and so it was one thing that I always wanted to do, and being able to go was so amazing. I had the best time. The group was amazing. If you want to look back, I did make a more in detail video of what I did while I was there. It must have been like 3 years back now, which is crazy. It's such a long time ago, but it feels like yesterday. Number 8, I've performed in front of at least 200 people, which is crazy to think about. Obviously, I love performing and theatre in general, but particular opportunities that have come up, I've been able to perform to people that I wouldn't necessarily normally perform to. And I think for me, I like to think of each of these little things as a small achievement, because it is. It's cool. It's crazy when you think about it. So yeah, that's fun. Number 9, I got an A star in my maths A-level. I think because of my love for theatre and music and stuff, I often get looked at as a more creative person and not a very mathematical science person. But I have loved maths forever. I was that kid who would be doing Sudokus for fun all the time. I just have always loved it and I've always understood it. And so being able to say that I got an A star at maths, I think half of it is that people are always surprised, and I really enjoy them being surprised about it, because it makes me feel like I'm not what you think, and that's kind of cool. Number 10. I have managed to sustain a dislike for tomatoes since I was born, pretty much. You know when kids don't like some sort of vegetable and there's always one that they just hate when they're little, and the parents are like, don't worry, they'll grow out of it. Well, tomatoes I have never grown out of, and I will never grow out of it. I'd just like to say they're disgusting. I hate them a lot, and no one should eat them. Thank you, good night. Number 11. I voted for the first time, which was so weird. Unfortunately, the big general election back in 2017 was actually 2 weeks before my 18th birthday, so I missed out on that very, very slimly, which was probably the most aggravating thing at the time, mostly because all my friends were voting and I had no say, even though I really wanted to say. But since then I've done little local elections and stuff, and honestly that was still cool to just be part of it and be a fully fledged adult and such. Number 12. I went to Glastonbury. In 2016 and 2017, I went to Glastonbury, which was freaking amazing. It's the only festival I've ever been to, and I think that's pretty cool to say because it's probably one of the best festivals in the world. And it was such a cool time. I got to see so many cool people, and yeah, I love it. I got to experience it with my best friend Thea, which was so cool. I mean, we saw Coldplay. Like, what? Number 13, I've done my bronze and silver DV. I realise most people do bronze, and you probably thought I was about to say gold, but I didn't get that far. Number 14, I've peed in Trump Tower. Number 15, until 2017, I had been volunteering as a Girl Guiding Brownie leader for about 6 years. Every week, Thursday night, going back to the brownie unit that I went to as a brownie, organising activities, and honestly just seeing so many kids pass through, I felt so old. I joined the Girl Guiding unit as a brownie when I was 7, and then went on to guiding and then back into brownies as a leader. And honestly, I feel like it's such a big part of my life that even though I don't do it anymore, I will never forget my time there. I spent about, must have been like 12 years involved in it, and yeah, it's a big part. Number 16, I had braces. My teeth journey is probably one of the longest. Until I was about 13, everyone thought my teeth were absolutely perfect. I'd never had any fillings or braces or anything. My teeth were perfectly straight. It was all looking grand. One day I went to the dentist and they told me that my adult canines were actually bang in the middle of my mouth behind my front teeth. And wow, was not expecting that. So then came the long awaited process, which lasted for about 5 years, I think, where I had to get an operation to reveal, this is kind of graphic, I apologise ahead of time. I had to have a chain attached to these teeth up here, and then that was attached at the side of my mouth to the eventually braces that would then bring them forward and fix my now nice smile. My braces were taken off August 2017, so after I finished school, but most importantly before A-level results day, where I came crashing into school and showing all these people that hadn't seen me yet what a great smile I now have. They were horrible, I hated them, but we've been there, done that, and we're better off now. 17. I've watched the whole entire series of Glee. If that's not an achievement, I don't know what is. Number 18. In my whole life, I've been involved in 30 productions, and 15 of them are just in my 2 years at university. At school, I do about 1 or 2 a year, and since university, it's just gone absolutely mental. And looking back at those numbers, I cannot quite believe how I've managed to do that and also sustain a good grade in my degree. So, what? Somehow we've done it. Some projects have been more enjoyable than others, but we're happy we've done all of them. We've learnt from all of them, and yeah, wowee. Wow. Number 19, I've learnt to drive. I think as someone who was born towards the end of the school year, so is younger than quite a lot of their friends, my motivation to learn to drive was probably very high. I started in August 2016 and I passed in February 2017 with flying colours. Driving was a moment. My driving instructor was kind of a bit of a psychopath, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe once or twice told me that I was gonna kill her, but we won't delve into that too much. But now I'm driving still, still not great at parking, but the fact that I can take myself places is a big old adulting thing that I am happy to say that I can do. And finally, number 20. When I was 16, I cut off 7 inches of my hair and gave it to the Little Princess Trust. I don't know how many people have been following my channel for that long, but I used to have really long hair. I just have always had it, always really long, really straight, nothing much to it apart from that. One day I just decided it was time to go short. When I first got it cut, I think it was about here, so not actually that short, and then ever since then we've just been getting shorter and shorter trims. I realise now that most people I'm close with now will see me as someone with short hair because they've met me when I've had short hair, but in my eyes I still see myself as someone with long hair that's recently got their hair cut short, even though it was literally 4 years ago now. So that is 20 things I've done in 20 years. Kind of crazy. The next question is, what will I do in the next 20 years of my life? Which is a terrifying question that we're not going to discuss because I don't want to be 40, quite frankly. That's terrifying. I'm still a child. What is happening? If you're also 20 and are freaking out about life, join me. It's a fun ride. It's really not. But at least we can say that we're excited for the next year ahead. It's my final year at university. We've got to start thinking about the future, which is scary, but it's also exciting in the sense that there's so many opportunities and things to try out, I guess. I'm so happy with my friends at the moment. They're all amazing and they're also supportive. I support them. We're all supporting each other. It's a great old time. And maybe my last year of education. What? We've literally spent like 15, 16 years doing this and now it's coming to the end, which is mental. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any suggestions of things you'd like to see me do, please let me know and I'll see you soon. Bye!